Hey, so it's going to be a little bit more technical, really long video, but we will dive into the entire system, and I will show you features, functionalities around the following modules, so you can have an understanding how it works from quotation to the moment when the order is dispatched. Okay, so I'm creating a new quotation right now. I'm hitting on new. Let me type the name of the company. Here, what we can see is the client profile in the right pane of the screen. Like I can select whether my client is individual or company. I can pick his tax region. So this is important for compliance and which tax rates will be applied. Then we have contacts information. So let me just type my name here. I can have one point of contact or blah, 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 or multiple ones, as many as I need. Same comes for drivers. That information is typically used for waybills and deliveries. Some clients are asking that, like, hey, I want that my driver's name and place of his car written in the waybill and financial documents. So that's where we define it here. Same for addresses. There might be different dispatch or pickup addresses. Then another module is about discounts. So here we have different product groups. For example, I have all products that are related to bending may have 15% discount, while all other products that are just like rivets, boats, some instruments can have 0%. So that's how we can set up our discount strategy globally, but individually for different clients. Notification, it's like basically everything that relates to communication, and like we want to ask for feedback after the order is delivered. Like, do you want to notify when the order is ready? And yeah, you can choose just which notification channel you want to use for each individual notification. So right now we're supporting email and WhatsApp. And users is like when you want to grant external access to the system for your clients, so they can see their orders online through the portal. You can provide your users here. Okay, so we covered the clients pane now, and let's go to the left pane. For the contact, let me type my name so you can see that information that I just entered here in the contacts. It can be picked up for this individual order. And same comes with the address here. And now another important thing is the due date. That is basically when we set the deadline for this order to be delivered. There are some interesting tweaks here. We may leave it empty, which means the order is like urgent by default, or we can set some date in future. Let's say it's going to be 4th of April. Finally, I am able to start entering information about the order. What I'm entering here right now is a windowsill element. I'm not gonna touch too much about the pricing. I think there's going to be a separate guide for that. But different ways how you can set the price for the products. Like in the case of this windowsill element, it depends on the actual dimensions of the product. Even if it increases for like 100 millimeters, the price will slightly go up. So you can see my default discount is applied because this product is part of the bending group. As I'm adding some instruments to the list, then the size doesn't matter here, and the discount is not applied because the product is of a different group. Now I can save the order. Okay, that's how we have created our quotation. Now let's move on to the next stage. And that's basically the manufacturing of this windowsill. So before we can actually manufacture, we need to cut metal, allocate resources for it. And when it comes to production, there are usually various stages or workstations involved in manufacturing the same product. That's why the software comes with designated journals that are specifically designed for specific workstations of the workflows of the factory. Right now we are going to the cutting journal. Here I know that my product is polyester to H3. So what I can see here, the white record, this one, is open for cutting. So I'm ticking the checkbox, and now I can select which coil I want to use to cut from. Let's say I'm bringing this to the coil, to production, and when I click on the coil, the system loads this nesting software that does that visualization to help operator into the cutting process. If I agree with that, I simply add the record. I say like that amount of metal will go to this order, and I click confirm button. So what happens here, as you can see, my record becomes green. That creates a record that the cutting operation was performed for this particular product item. Once we cutted it, the product can be actually bended. That's the next stage of the manufacturing process for this particular item. There is another journal called manufacturing journal that is used by other employees of the factory. So what we can see here is like the same products, the same two items that we entered in our quotation. I want to report the bends. Here I will enter that for this particular item, though 50 items, and I'm reporting that I have bended it. There's a bubble indicating that there are 50 bends performed. So in such a way, all the relevant stakeholders of the company can track at which stage, at which manufacturing stage the product is currently in. So once everything is manufactured, the order is ready to be assembled for the final dispatch. There are two checkboxes. The right one says that, okay, this product item is now ready, it's packed, it can be dispatched further. And the last one is a simple inventory item. It was not manufactured. I'm taking the left checkbox, which means that I'm getting this product from the stock. And you can see the stock is updated. Since the order was urgent, it was colored in red, but now it's green, which means it's ready to be dispatched. We can issue items individually, or we can issue everything at once. So I'm hitting this button and you can see it's great. Once I refresh this log, it's no longer present here. It just goes down in the list. It will still stay here for a couple of days, but it will be then automatically removed. So this journal is updated in real time. Whenever there's a change, it reflects this change and new orders comes in and dispatch orders are leaving this journal. For historical order tracking, there is a different orders log where I can find my client, I can check by status whether the order was manufactured, is ready, it's issued, does it have any printed invoices or waybills, and I can always refer back to that in time. So the next workflow I want to show is around the documentation. So I'm opening this order right now and I want to print the invoice. That basically generates me a PDF ready invoice with all the relevant requisites here and information about the order. I can also send this document over email, which is just by clicking this email. You want to send this email, say yes, no, say yes, and for fun, let's check my Gmail. Yeah, here we go. I have it. Just received that, so I can see the same invoice delivered to my email. Anyway, let's go back. I can print production slip, package slip, like different types of stuff, whatever is needed for manufacturing, for clients, for compliance. Let me go back and show you another module which is related to finance. What happens here is we can synchronize payment records, comes from the bank. Usually these are all external systems that are really hard to integrate. So we're keeping a track of what happens in the bank, locally in the system too. That helps managers see like, oh, we have received the payment, so we are ready to release the order to production. Here in the manual mode, I can map the client. For example, click on the date, set up the date of payment, and set up the custom amount. Let's say usually happens when clients, corporate clients are paying in batches. They're not paying the right amount, and we can slightly, make it like he paid a little bit less, like let's say €5 less than he was supposed to do. But then that information, we go to the final report, and if we print our final outstanding balance report, we can see actually who owes us, who hasn't paid enough, who overpaid, and there's just so much hassle that is done by the accounting team. But these papers are super crucial, and the journal itself, because it gives a quick snapshot of what happens in general with the finance of the company, and also prepares statements for external accounting software and helps keep things with finance on a monthly basis. I also have my stock. Here we can find all of the products that are currently in stock. They can be manufactured, they can be replenished. You can do the corrections here. So by just, as long as you have the rights, I can just type 100 and done, it's there. It's not a recommended way to do because usually there are other procedures how we are topping up the stock, but they're just one of the features that we can use in this journal. And categorization, right? We can have different categories for different product groups. This basically allows us to separate our inventory into different physical stores. Multiple employees can access this log and they just get that information that is most relevant for them. Okay, now let me show you how we are handling the metal, which is the raw materials. Is slightly different, but just a general overview. That's how it looks. That's where we register our raw materials. You can see that some items are already written off. So basically I can mark them as used and they will be removed from the list. Quick overview on the settings. So here we can personalize the documents, everything that relates to templates for communication, emails, WhatsApp templates. We can define our parameters like work log categories, product groups, stock categories, etc. Some basic settings related to regional settings where the company resides, default currency, tax, VAT rates, etc. Now the reports. Some existing ones, like we can see the performance of the employees, the type of work they're performing. Another interesting report that we have here related to machine metering. Based on these machines, I can see when basically the shift begins, which hours is the busiest. Like lunchtime is around 12. We can see the workload slightly reduces there, and the shift ends around 4 p.m. Users is where you define and grant access to the portal. Let's find myself here. Like that's how many rights and permission I have. So if I click on access, I can see those different toggle elements that allow me and grant access to different parts of the portal. This software is open source, super friendly for commercial use, and that means any engineer can use that. You can find it on GitHub. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you want to get all the news about the product that I'm building here.